Hey everyone, this is Borvak. I want to do a quick review of Hawkman number 13, War Without End. I've got my nice laptop here to angle it up and keep my ceiling light from reflecting against the comic. So we'll see how this goes. This issue is written, well, we'll get to that when we get to the credits page. But we start out with Carter in space in his awesome spaceship, kind of telling the ship to go on autopilot, and there we go. He tells the ship that, because the ship's got an AI, because what ship doesn't? The ship's like, "Where are we going?" And he's like, "I'll tell you in a minute. For now, just don't fall from space," which I don't think you can do anyway. So he turns on the lights and he's talking about, when he doesn't know what to do, he reflects on his past. And for him, he's got a lot of pasts because he's lived like hundreds of lives throughout space and time, which this whole run is about, actually, that Robert Venditti has been writing. And looks like we got Will Conrad on art, Jeremiah Shipper on colors, and Starkings and Comicraft as letters. Those don't sound like real names. But anyway, he turns on the light, and this is awesome. He's actually got, like, on his ship, he's got a museum that's entirely dedicated to his past lives, which is kind of interesting. That's man, do you have an entire museum on your spaceship that's dedicated to all of your past lives? I didn't think so. Well, that's kind of a cool shot there. So he's going through and trying to figure out the past to figure out what he needs to do next, because in the last issue he just finished fighting like his former comrade turned evil villain. And so that whole arc wrapped up. So we're trying to see what's in store next. And he's apparently in all his past lives, even if he doesn't remember his past lives, he's always kept like records and written. And then I guess in his future lives, he goes back and he finds those written records or something. So he's going back and he's remembering a time where he was... This whole issue is really about two different factions on a planet fighting, basically for spice on Arrakis or something like that. And he keeps reincarnating on either side and keeps dying on either side. So he gains this perspective that neither side is really the villain. They're just both fighting. They've been fighting for decades or centuries and nobody even knows what they're fighting for anymore. There's this thing in here about they shoot down a bird that's flying overhead, but even birds are starting to become rare because of all the fighting. They're just kind of destroying the planet. So he gets shot, his friend gets shot, he gets shot, he's dying. He White Knight ad here, Sean Gordon Murphy. He reincarnates on the other side, his friend gets shot again. This is actually a really quick book to cover. And then we've got a kind of a splash page of him just reincarnating year after year after year after year, and he's recording it and writing it down. Each time he reincarnates, his commanding officer has to yell at him to stop writing and start charging towards the enemy. So he keeps... I don't know how he keeps finding the book to add to it in the next life, but anyway, we'll get to that. So eventually, he decides that it's time to stop the war, so he puts down his weapon, he walks to the other side, and he offers them some rations. And then, of course, their version of Hot Girl in this timeline offers him some rations in return, and they share food, so now everybody's friends, and they stop fighting, and they build on the planet and live together, and they make a statue of Carter, or that incarnation of him. Because war didn't make this world, peace did. So there's some, it's a nice little one shot, and then there's this stuff about Krypton. I don't care about that. It's a good issue. I've liked Robert Venditti's run overall. I keep telling everyone that I talk to that this is definitive for the character. This is, from what I've seen, I haven't seen anything in Hawkman that's more definitive than the current run. So if you like the character, or if you liked Venditti's run on Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps before this, go start reading Hawkman. This is the perfect time to pick it up. We just finished up the first story arc. This is kind of a one-shot, and we're going to get into whatever he has planned next. You always have some trouble with this sort of story, I think, because as interesting as the idea is, it kind of feels like the idea takes precedence over the actual story. Because, I mean, he keeps writing in his journal, and then in each future life, he lives the 20 years or whatever it takes him to get ready to be in the military. And each new life, is he refinding his old journal that was written by somebody on the other side of the war somehow? And then he's recording, he's definitely recording everything in his life up to that point. He's not just only recording this one fight to reread each time. So each new life, he's rereading from a journal that he somehow found of somebody that he doesn't know is him, born on the other side of a conflict. He's finding that journal. He's rereading everything that he writes from that life up into the point he dies, and then he's writing his own experiences into that same journal. It's just a little contrived. But Venditti's run has been good overall. The art is good here, so I forgive it. And best part of the issue, museum dedicated to himself on his ship. He must have some great, like, what do you call it? Like artificial gravity, with all these books not just falling off the shelves every time he hits the gas. But yeah, that's about it. So this issue is okay. I recommend the run more than the issue, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's next. Did a little research on Venditti, and he's apparently not done much for the big two so far. It feels like Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps was... He did something before that I wasn't sure what it was for DC. But Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, the book before this, was really his biggest mainstream book for DC, as far as I can tell. And that run was great. This run is great. So if you like what you saw in this video, go pick it up for yourself. You can read it for yourself, word by word, panel by panel, and page by page. Go support your local comic shop. And if you don't have a local comic shop, you can find one online, or you can read digitally at places like Comixology and Amazon. But let me know what you think about this issue, this run, about Robert Venditti, about comics in general in the comment section. And I will talk to you guys there. Thanks.